You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a school in California is taking a different approach to help struggling students.
Also, the city of Pittsburgh launches a new service after many residents expressed concerns with one of their current trash services.
And it's a mostly cloudy start to the day out there. Maybe a stray shower or two. We'll look at that forecast for you coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner just after 7 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully those of you who had a long Labor Day weekend, it was good. Was it good?
Oh, so much fun. So much fun.
That's really too bad.
I went up to the Minnesota State Fair. You know, I'm not even listening.
I know. It just hit me. I'm like, she has not listened to any. It's like my wife at home. She does not listen to anything I say either until it comes to, you know, something serious. Yeah. And suddenly she hears that, but not the other useless stuff I ramble on. That's what I do.
I don't even know what to do right now.
Mental. Yeah,
mental. Speaking of mental.
Yes.
Despite some recent improvements, mental health challenges continue to weigh heavily on teenagers since the COVID-19 pandemic, with young girls being particularly affected.
Julia Vargas Jones has the story of how the second largest school district is stepping up to address this ongoing crisis.
Hi, welcome. If you could please take off your shoes.
No shoes, no phones, and no desks. Instead, this classroom has Tibetan singing bowls, salt lamps, and floor pillows.
My name is Myra Villa, and I'm one of the psychiatric social workers of the school. And basically my job here is crisis intervention. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out.
Here, high schoolers also learn to identify anxiety and depression and what to do about it in a judgment-free space. This as teens nationwide continue to struggle with their mental health in the wake of the pandemic. According to the CDC's latest Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 40% of high school students surveyed report feeling persistently sad or hopeless in 2023. That's down slightly from 42% in 2021, but still about 10 percentage points higher than it was in 2013. For teen girls, the issue is even more pronounced. 53% say they felt persistently sad or hopeless, compared to 28% of boys. Among all teens, 20% say they seriously consider suicide, up from 17% in 2013.
They were feeling scared. They were not feeling well. They were feeling depressed, anxious. We made decisions, tough decisions, that prioritized the protection, the safety, the well-being of kids. In fact, our strategic plan elevates joy as one of its priorities.
To support students, the Los Angeles Unified School District has brought in more than 800 mental health professionals to work with its roughly 430,000 students.
We never learned how to just take a moment to, think about things, meditate, things that could help us to just take a pause.
That skill, students say, is already helping them cope with the stresses of academic performance.
I never really get the chance at school to fully relax myself, and I think this is a perfect place to kind of do it.
Julia Vargas Jones, Los Angeles.
Certainly it's great that they're still working to help out and step up, because it was a lot to take on. Schools suddenly stopped. Yes. Graduation ceremonies were thrown in. I mean, there's a whole series of things that went on with the pandemic. So it's great to see they're stepping up and trying to help out.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm going to try and help you. I'm going to try and help myself out. I've managed to twist my ankle. I tripped over the couch.
Oh my goodness.
I said a silly thing to her. She didn't even hear it. So hopefully, if you folks at home are listening.
Are we sure it's not Monday?
I'm telling you, because we had a Monday holiday, it's Monday today. Let's take a look outside. And you can see that there is some sunshine, but there's also a lot of cloud cover. And that's why we call it mostly cloudy, because there's some breaks, but not really enough to see a lot of sky. But the sun trying to come out from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We head over to 7th and Rangeline. Now it's hiding behind the trees, but the sun's still rising out there. But this also gives you a better view as to just how cloudy it really is. Same from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. These clouds do look like a little bit of rain, and that's a possibility for some of us. Between roughly 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., we could see an isolated shower or two, mainly in our southern counties. So really, let's just say like the 126 corridor points south, if you just drew that line straight across. But even then, it's a relatively low chance of seeing an isolated shower or two out there, but something's better than nothing at this point. Quick look at temperatures on the cool side: 62 in Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh, and cloudy both locations. Around the area, Iola's been the cool spot at 56 all morning. Now they're up to 57, still some upper 50s and low to mid 60s as we get this day underway. So very fall-like start to the day and a somewhat fall-like day. Our average high 88. We're still looking upper 70s, low 80s for our highs. Mostly cloudy, isolated shower or two possible. Now by tomorrow, winds begin to turn around and the temperatures begin to go up a bit. We'll go over those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Joplin first responders were called to a fire late Monday night on South Pennsylvania Avenue. Firefighters worked quickly to control the flames on a vacant residence in the middle of Emerson neighborhood. The heat was so intense that parts of the siding of the south side melted significantly. The fire was under control around 12:20 and no one was home at the time of the fire. Joplin police are investigating the cause. The Fairview, Missouri woman convicted of shooting and killing her ex-lover has died in prison. 74-year-old Connie Sanders Ford was serving a life sentence at Chillicothe Women's Prison for the 2015 murder of 58-year-old John Jordan of Granby. Authorities say the two were having an affair, but after Jordan ended it, Sanders Ford shot him. Now, Sanders Ford's death is considered to be of natural causes. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the city of Pittsburgh hopes to address residents' trash concerns with the official launch of a city-run trash service this week. This comes after many residents have reported issues with services like Cards Recycling and Waste Management frequently not picking up trash while still charging customers. KOAM's Samantha Walker spoke with city staff and residents about what they hope to see from the new service.
We've stuck with it until we get the Pittsburgh ones.
Pittsburgh residents have a new option for waste management as the city officially launches its own trash service. This comes after reported issues with long delays in pickups from other providers.
The city's always in trash. We've always been in the trash business. What we're doing is just getting a little better equipment and assigning some personnel, because right now, when the trash doesn't get picked up by one of the contractors that's supposed to pick it up, it ends up falling to the city.
The service is available for anyone within city limits or who receives city water. The city now has 2 designated trucks, hundreds of roll carts and dumpsters, and a designated team.
So we're just making sure that we're there when they need us. If they want to use the city, they can. If not, we're going to pick up a ton of trash anyway, because that's what we always do.
City staff say residents aren't required to sign up for the city service. It's just another option. And because the trash service is supported entirely by its own fees, residents who aren't signed up aren't paying for it in any way.
We spent a lot of time on the fee to make sure that it would cover our costs, but not generate any additional revenue.
Some Pittsburgh residents say they're hopeful for the new trash service. They believe that a city-run one may have more accountability than other companies.
I was really excited about it because typically if the city does it, it's very dependable, reliable. You don't have to worry about large item pickup or even sometimes like recycling of leaves and branches and things. It's all included in your bill.
And for a resident like her who has lived in Pittsburgh for 20 years, the new service is a sign of the city's growth.
I feel like it's a sign that Pittsburgh is growing, and we're adding services and making things easier for the residents. I think it's a step in the right direction, and it's good for the residents of Pittsburgh, and I would hope everybody would sign up for it.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Residents signed up for the city trash service will not be charged for September as the new team learns the routes and stops. Customers will receive their first bills in October. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Charlene Patton stopped by the studio earlier with a smoothie recipe you have to try. And later, a small Wisconsin community came together when they discovered a kitten that had been stuck in a pipe for a week. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from downtown Chinook, Kansas. Welcome back. We have a Charlene Patton here, our good friend, joining us from Topeka, Kansas, with the Kansas Soybean Commission, of course. And it is National Breakfast Month. So tell me, what are we making today, Charlene?
Well, on the Kansas Soy Foods website, we have a whole assortment of smoothies.
Oh,
so go to our website.
Yes.
One of my favorite ones is a strawberry smoothie in there that uses tofu. But this one is from the Soy Foods Guide, and it's called the Soy Green Smoothie. And as we add these ingredients, you'll see why it's so green. I adjusted the recipe a little bit from the book. So if you've ordered the book, you can try the recipe that's in there. But for our purposes, I liked it better as a smoothie with a little bit of liquid in it.
Oh, yes.
This recipe in the book uses only the fruit and vegetables.
It's a little thicker.
It's a little thick, and you have to really use your blender for quite a while to get it nice and smooth. But I'm going to let you start adding things. We have edamame, and this is 1/2 cup of edamame, and then a 1/2 cup of frozen spinach.
Oh, nice.
So everything is frozen. You can hear that as it goes in there, because we like that smoothie to be nice and cold.
Yes, and nutritious.
And nutritious. And then we have a frozen mango and frozen pineapple.
Oh, how yummy.
And I've also tried it with fresh pineapple, and that adds some extra sweetness, and I really like it because it has a lot more of that in there. Then this is 1 cup of vanilla soy milk.
Oh, fantastic.
And this vanilla soy milk, I have it on display over there. Do I have a little bit? Oh yeah, here's a little bit of fresh ginger. So this adds a little bit of zing to it, because that
wake you up in the morning.
Wake you up in the morning, it sure will. So if you're doing this for your kids, if you want to leave that out, you certainly can. Okay, we'll just go ahead and, there we go. And you can see, that frozen. I'll turn it down just a little bit. Now what you'd want to do is, I'll just scrape that because of the frozen. And it's going to take just a few minutes because you've got all those frozen vegetables in there. But you can see, if we didn't have that milk in there, oh my goodness, very dense. But here's the green, and then suggested serving it with some fresh pineapple slices. That
very
really
refreshing.
refreshing, very nutritious, and an easy pick up for breakfast in the morning, or you could also have it for an after-school snack for breakfast month.
Perfect for back to school.
That's right.
Perfect. Well, Charlene, if people want this recipe, like you said, they can get it in the book. But if they'd like any more information or other recipes, where can they do so?
They should go to our website at kansassoybeans.org or call our 800 number 877-KS-SOYBEAN. And remember, the recipe that we have featured has some adjustments to it that I like a little bit better for that smoothie.
Absolutely. Well, an expert as always. Thank you so much, Charlene. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:18 on this Tuesday morning, and we are starting with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. There's that sun trying to break through some of these clouds, but this is what we call mostly cloudy. A little bit of light getting through, but not very much this morning. Take a look at from our camera at 7th and Range Line, sunrise hiding behind the trees, but as you can see, the same view roughly as we've got mostly cloudy skies out there, mostly cloudy. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin, and there's no sunshine visible from the KDOT camera, 69 Kansas Crossing just south of Pittsburgh. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies once again with us today, and we're also going to have at least an isolated opportunity for a stray shower or two out there. mainly into our southern counties if we see much of anything at all. But nonetheless, it is a slight chance of a stray shower or two. And then once we go overnight, clouds begin to gradually clear out. And because we'll have those clear skies, summertime, wintertime, it doesn't matter. The clouds can act as that blanket to keep warmer air in. So by tomorrow morning, we could see a few more of us into the upper 50s to start our day. We've already had some today and yesterday. Could see a few more tomorrow morning. However, there's a flip side to that. With more sunshine during the day, that will also allow us to get much warmer than where we have been. Now, we're not talking necessarily about exceeding the average temperature on our Wednesday, but it's going to feel a lot warmer than what it has the last few days, the last couple of days, as we've been into the upper 80s, or sorry, the low 80s. My goodness, it is Monday in my brain, isn't it? We're having the winds also begin to shift out of the southeast on Wednesday, and that's going to bring in warmer air for us as we head into our Thursday. It's also going to bring in some moisture, which will allow us to see opportunities Thursday and Friday for pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Now, initially in the first half of our Thursday, we're talking mainly south of I-44, but as we continue to heat up and that moisture continues to build in, if you watch, you'll see those little splotches pop up. That's where we could see some additional isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms, but again, majority of us expected to remain dry. In Joplin right now, again, mostly cloudy, 62, east breeze at 3 as it continues to shift from the northeast to the east, and by tomorrow again out of the southeast. Around the region, still some upper 50s. Iola back to the cool spot at 56. We're starting to see a few more low to mid 60s out there this morning. We'll again continue to warm up a bit. Mostly cloudy skies, isolated shower out there. Better chances between 10 and 7, but again, they're still very isolated. Mid 70s by 11 o'clock. Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of us as we head through the afternoon. Highs upper 70s and low 80s today, so another below normal day for us. Heading into the evening, again, it's going to take a bit before we see the clouds begin to clear. That won't happen until overnight, so still mostly cloudy through the evening. About 70 by 10, upper 50s and low 60s for our lows tonight with the gradually clearing skies. Again, mostly clear, partly cloudy tomorrow. Wednesday through Friday, we're in the upper 80s, so at or very close to normal. Pop-up showers and storms Thursday, Friday. We cool back a bit this weekend. Sunny skies, but into the low 80s. But it is a very short-lived cool down. As we head into next week, temperatures start to warm up. We go upper 80s, so around average Monday and Tuesday, and then we go above average in the second half of next week, heading into the low 90s. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Well, a kitten used one of its 9 lives after getting stuck in a drain pipe for 5 days. Rescuers went to great lengths to free the feline.
Marianne McCarr has this story of how a Wisconsin community came together to save Piper.
He knows he's getting close to freedom.
When I arrived Friday morning, I saw a small group of people covered in mud, hard at work along the side of this Milwaukee house. All were volunteers with a local animal rescue group called Chain Dogs MKE.
We do a lot in the community with abandoned, neglected animals.
They got word from worried neighbors who heard a kitten fell into an exposed drain pipe and was stuck there for 5 days.
The people who found the cat or heard the cat in the first place reached out to, fire department, the police, some of the other community resources, and I guess people were unable to help.
And that's when their organization took action. They spent 8 hours Thursday digging and cutting through pipes before coming back early Friday morning to keep working. On Friday, volunteers told me they still weren't having any luck getting help from city agencies. So I gave the fire department another call. Within 10 minutes, crews were there, digging and sawing a hole in the pipe for the cat to come out.
We're just a small group of girls and a guy that trying to save all the animals in Milwaukee, so we'll take all the help we can.
After coaxing, playing cat sounds, and offering treats,
Hey, you little devil.
I was one of the first people to greet our little feline friend after he made his grand entrance. The group was filled with pure joy after another job done to save a life in need.
This is why I rescue. That's the best feeling you could ever have, is just helping an innocent animal from whatever situation they may be in.
As for this little guy's name, they've decided to call him Piper.
Certainly impressive. The feat that they went through to have to get him, and the fact he survived 5 days down there is incredible.
Really is. Such a cute little guy.
He was. He was reaching out to his rescuers, kind of like to thank them for getting them out of there after all that time.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, the 2024 presidential election is getting closer, and both candidates hit the campaign trail choosing to focus on the American labor force.
And we've got a mostly cloudy start to the day. A couple isolated showers possible out there as well. Details coming up when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's just coming up on 7:30. I'm Elise Snowy. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office says a weekend shooting appears to be self-defense. It happened at a home at 117 South 12th Street in Sarcoxie, Missouri. Deputies responded to that house for reports of a shooting and found 39-year-old Brian Jones of Sarcoxie with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The sheriff's office says the shooter was identified and is cooperating with investigators. Well, authorities in Cassville, Missouri are asking the public for helping identifying the burglar in this security video. Now, this video shared by the Barry Lawrence County Crime Stoppers shows the burglar breaking into Fury Printing in Cassville last Wednesday night. Fury Printing officials say this is the second time the business has been broken into. The burglar in the video is seen wearing a ghost face mask from the movie Scream. If you have any information, you are asked to contact law enforcement. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps, as well as our website. You can watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, the 119th Old Settlers Weekend wrapped up in Uniontown, Kansas yesterday. Residents and visitors participated in a car show, children's parade, and picnic in the park. The event also saw vendors from throughout the community set up to sell handmade goods such as bows, jewelry, and artwork. And Old Settlers Weekend included several raffles to benefit different causes in the area.
So we have all kinds of things going on to help other people. Also, it's just a community helping others, you know, and getting together and having a good time.
Picnickers also enjoyed food and craft vendors and carnival games on the Uniontown Square. Now let's check in with Chris for a look at the forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies out there to start. You can see that from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Sun trying to break through, but again, that's why it's mostly cloudy. But nonetheless, it looks a little dreary, but the temperature is very fall-like. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, another look at those mostly cloudy skies. And if we head a little further south, well, it's the same thing. Mostly cloudy skies, MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. Future track will show where we're going to be mostly cloudy through the majority of our day. It won't be until overnight that we'll start to see some of those clouds clear. We could see a couple isolated showers out there as well. The majority of us will remain dry, better chances south of I-44, and that window really is about 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for some of those isolated showers out there. But again, as you can see, the majority of us will remain dry, but by 8, already getting some clearing across the northwestern fringes of southeastern Kansas. And again, we'll begin to clear out a little more as we go overnight tonight. 62 in Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh right now. And Iola's been one of the cool spots, if not the cool spot, all morning long. And they still are sitting at 56 degrees. But we're starting to see again a few more low to mid 60s out there. Mostly cloudy, isolated shower too. Our highs today, upper 70s and into the low 80s out there. Now tomorrow, once we start to clear tonight, we'll also be clearing tomorrow. It means a little more sunshine, slightly warmer temperatures. Details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, it was a busy Labor Day on the campaign trail as candidates celebrated American workers. The holiday also marks the unofficial end to summer. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more.
After a quiet weekend off the campaign trail, the candidates are shifting focus to the American worker this Labor Day. Former President Donald Trump is preparing to visit several battleground states this week, including Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Wisconsin, while Vice President Kamala Harris spent the holiday traveling to Detroit and Pittsburgh as she tries to win over working-class voters.
We know that hard work is good work. It's a joyful moment where we are committed to doing the hard work of lifting up America's families.
Her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, met with labor leaders in Wisconsin and Minnesota.
It's union halls where the purest form of democracy is practiced. The opportunity to speak your mind about your job, the opportunity to elect your leadership.
Labor Day became an official federal holiday in the late 19th century after a series of pivotal strikes by organized labor and workers' unions. It's now seen as the unofficial end to the summer, with millions of people taking to the rails, roads, and skies.
It's great. I think everybody needs to come down the shore for Labor Day. It's summer's last chance.
According to TSA, the holiday travel period began last Thursday and ends this Wednesday. Some 17 million people were expected to pass through checkpoints and take advantage of lower airfare costs.
It is busy, but passengers are being processed efficiently, and that's really the goal at the end of the day.
And travelers are also getting a break at the pump, with gas prices down about 48 cents from a year ago. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Let's look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Hotel workers across the country went on strike this Labor Day weekend. We'll share how the strike affected holiday travel. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from downtown Chanute, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, a band's comeback tour causes more investigations into Ticketmaster. The United Kingdom says it's looking into the ticket company's dynamic pricing model after many fans struggled to buy tickets for the Oasis reunion tour. Some consumers report waiting hours and having to pay 2.5 times the cost for a standing room ticket. The country's culture secretary, Lisa Nandy, says the high prices exclude average fans from seeing the band, and Ticketmaster says it does not set prices for concerts as it leaves it up to event organizers. Well, the number of adults using cannabis and hallucinogens in the past year has remained at a historically high level. University of Michigan researchers found the amount of adults between 19 and 30 years old who used a vape for cannabis or nicotine in the past year rose over 5 years, while adults 35 through 50 who used vaping stayed the same. For the first time, 19 to 30-year-old women reported a higher use of cannabis than men in the same age group. One popular soda is rewarding fans who travel to a certain time zone. From now until December 31st, Mountain Dew says it will be rewarding travelers who cross into the Mountain Time Zone with a voucher for a free 20-ounce Mountain Dew in any flavor. All you have to do is register on welcometomtntime.com before your trip. Then when you get there, revisit the site to grab the coupon. There is a limit of only one free soda per registered email. Mountain Time Zone areas include Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. Well, some 10,000 hotel workers hit the picket line over the weekend for a multi-day strike. It comes during one of the biggest Labor Day travel periods ever. Fox News correspondent Bill Malugin reports from Los Angeles.
Who has the power? Union power. Thousands of hotel workers striking across the U.S. this Labor Day after contract negotiations with chains Hilton, Hyatt, and Marriott stalled.
I'm exhausted every single day, and we just need better staffing and scheduling.
At home, we are 14 people, and my salary is not enough to feed my kids.
Workers walked off the job on Sunday in major tourist cities, including San Francisco, Boston, and Seattle. They're calling for better pay and fair working conditions. The Unite Here union says during the pandemic, hotels began cutting staff and guest services, such as automatic daily room cleaning. That move putting many employees out of a job, while increasing the workload for others.
We've seen the numbers go down as far as employees working. So you have a lot of members that are doing double the work and aren't seeing their wages go up.
The strikes are expected to last up to 3 days and impact some 23,000 hotel rooms. But they are taking place during what AAA says is the biggest Labor Day travel period in years.
The coffee shop wasn't open this morning, but Starbucks was, right across the street. I imagine a couple more days of it, things would change.
And the union has authorized strikes in more cities, but the hotels say they're committed to negotiating a fair and reasonable contract. In Los Angeles, Bill Malugin, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Now 7:44 on this Tuesday morning, starting with a live look from MoDOT Camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. Traffic moving right along, and the skies are mostly cloudy out there. In fact, they've straight up become cloudy here on the MoDOT Camera 20th and Rangeline. And the KDOT camera by Kansas Crossing has gone dark. There it goes. Well, still though, cloudy. Not too bright, not a lot of sunshine out there this morning. That's how the rest of today is going to be as well. We do have a chance of a stray shower or two out there, and most of us, again, will remain dry and simply cloudy, but south of I-44 and into parts of our southern counties in southeast Kansas could see a couple of stray showers or two out there, but otherwise, again, dry. Now, as once we get into the evening hours and overnight, skies will begin to gradually clear, and because of that, we'll start to get a little cooler tonight. A few more upper 50s possible, but there's the other side of that is with more sunshine on our Wednesday, it'll allow us to be warmer than where we have been yesterday and where we'll be today as we go into the upper 80s out there, and the winds will gradually begin to shift out of the southeast. Today they're going to be out of the east. Yesterday it was the northeast, and as they shift out of the southeast on our Wednesday, they're going to bring in some warmer air, and they're also going to start bringing in some more moisture to the area, and that's going to allow for an opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered pop-up storms on our Thursday and Friday. So by Thursday morning, we got partly cloudy skies out there. And again, initially in the first half of the day, it's looking as any rain chances are going to be south of I-44. But as we go into the second half of our Thursday, that's when we'll see at least a few more opportunities for some isolated, widely scattered storms out there. And again, we'll be a little bit warmer. For the most part, we're not going to be too far from average, but compared to today and yesterday, it's going to feel a lot hotter out there. And it's going to be a bit muggier for us as well. Because, you know, the pop-up storms, they feed off the daytime heating and that extra moisture in the air, whereas right now our dew point, for example, in Joplin's at 54. We had cloudy skies out there, a little sunshine trying to get through, 62, east breeze at 3. Around the region, we've still got Iola as the cool spot at 56. Still have some upper 50s out there, a few more low to mid 60s as we get this day underway, but very fall-like weather considering fall is not yet here, but eventually will be. Mostly cloudy through the morning, between about 10 and 7, the best window if we're going to see any showers. That's going to be the window for it, but again, they're going to be relatively confined, and most of us will be dry. Mid-70s out there for us today. Highs today, upper 70s to low 80s, mostly cloudy, east breeze 5 to 10, and again, maybe a stray shower or two. Through the evening, it won't be until the overnight that the clouds begin to clear, so through our evening, still mostly cloudy, about 70 by 10, and again, upper 50s, low 60s for our overnight lows tonight. Now, tomorrow through Friday, temperatures at or very close to average. Pop-up storms Thursday and Friday. A little cooler this weekend. Low 80s, sunny skies. So enjoy it because it's going to start to heat up. We're not technically in fall yet, and summer definitely wants to have one last hurrah as we go back into the low 90s in the second half of the next work week. So we're going to be going above average out there. That's a check of your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Now for a story that you have to see to believe. A man was snorkeling off Australia's Gold Coast when a whale launched him into the air.
The whole thing was caught on camera. Pat Higney spoke to a couple who witnessed it all in person.
A swim like no other.
What just happened?
One moment, this man is in the water. The next, the air.
It was on. He was on.
As the tail of a whale as big as a bus launches him from the sea.
All of a sudden, someone was in the air on top of a freaking whale.
Queensland YouTubers Max and Jacqueline were snorkeling with humpbacks in waters off the Gold Coast when they captured the gentle giant's moment of mayhem.
Yeah, we were super excited, obviously. The opportunity to swim with whales is pretty rare.
But they didn't expect an experience quite this unique.
It got wild.
Surrounded by 3 whales, the couple were keeping an eye on one beneath them when the unbelievable happened.
All of a sudden, there was commotion behind us and we turned around and someone, we didn't know at the time who it was, but someone was up on top of the tail of a whale.
The man on the tail was one of their tour guides, lifted from the water by a leviathan of the deep.
Everyone was just in such like adrenaline, I think, like you had this adrenaline rushing through your body.
The tour guide escaping uninjured after taking flight.
It was the first time this happened to him.
Yeah.
But he was very ecstatic about it.
It was like a relatively gentle experience from what we could tell. Yeah.
Now with a whale of a tail.
That was crazy. That was the most insane thing that I've ever experienced in my life.
Pat Heaney, 9 News.
Wow. Could you imagine all of a sudden you're swimming, then you're up in the air, and the next thing you know, you see a whale swimming away? I think
yeah, like the whale like tosses you up like that. That would be
terrified.
Intense, to say the least. I mean, you don't expect to go airborne from under the water.
Right.
You know, that's what a wild ride for that gentleman. But thankfully he was okay. So that's the good news there. And you're going to be okay as we make it back into the work week after that long weekend, although it's going to be a little dreary looking out there today. We've got mostly cloudy skies. You can see them from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. There they are. All those clouds kind of blocking that sunrise this morning. Another view of it from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Daylight trying to get through, just not being too terribly successful, and not getting through at all from this northerly view from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. Quite cloudy indeed. And also from the KDOT camera, 69 Kansas Crossing. It's one of those ones, it doesn't need to show the sky, because we can usually see the sunlight when it comes through here, and there's no sunlight out there. Mostly cloudy through the majority of today, in fact, all of today. And then we have an opportunity for maybe a couple of showers out there, mainly in our southern counties, and later in the day we go, it'll be more along and south of I-44. Most of us will be dry. These won't really add up to much of anything useful, but we'll have that opportunity out there. Skies will begin to clear overnight tonight. That'll allow us to be a little bit cooler to start our Wednesday, but with more sunshine and a southeasterly breeze, will be a little bit warmer for our Wednesday. And then we've got an opportunity for maybe a couple of pop-up storms as we head into Thursday. First half of the day south of I-44, and as we go later into the afternoon, a few more of them sprinkled around the area. Temperatures are going to warm up after today. We'll have a look at that, plus the news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 74-year-old Connie Sanders Ford of Fairview, Missouri, has died in prison. Sanders Ford was convicted of shooting and killing John Jordan in 2015. Authorities say the two were having an affair, but after Jordan ended it, Sanders Ford shot him. Her death is considered to be of natural causes. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office says the weekend shooting appears to be self-defense in Sarcoxie, Missouri. Deputies responded to reports of a shooting and found 39-year-old Brian Jones of Sarcoxie with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The Sheriff's Office says the shooter was identified and is cooperating with investigators. And authorities in Cassville, Missouri are asking the public for help in identifying the burglar in this security video. This video shared by the Barry Lawrence County Crime Stopper shows the burglar breaking into Fury Printing in Cassville last Wednesday night. The burglar in the video is seen wearing a ghost face mask from the movie Scream. If you have any information, you're asked to contact law enforcement.
And it's going to be another relatively decent day temperature-wise. Upper 70s, low 80s, mostly cloudy skies out there, and maybe an isolated shower or two in our southern counties between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Most of us, though, will be dry. Heading through the evening, still mostly cloudy. It won't be until overnight that we'll start to see some clearing skies. Upper 50s and low 60s out there. So tomorrow may actually be one of the coolest starts we have, but it's also going to be one of the warmer days we have, going back into the upper 80s. It'll be relatively close to average through Friday. Pop-up storm chances Thursday and Friday, and then we're cool this weekend. Sunny skies, enjoy it, and then it starts to get hot outside as we go back into the low 90s, so soaring above normal in the second half of next week.
All righty. Well, a wildfire burning in North Mississippi recently caused a fire-nado. Officials with the Mississippi Forestry Commission shared a video of the fire whirl, also known as a fire-nado, on social media.
A fire whirl is a large spinning vortex of flames, heat, and smoke. It's created when a wildfire's heat and wind create a vertical column of air that rises twists and then draws in oxygen. So this one here, you can see a lot of smoke associated with it, but you've seen those ones too where it's just straight flames dancing around in there. So that can be kind of terrifying to see at any time, especially during wildfire season.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.